Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to everybody. It's time for Cub Chat Live. And boy, today is a very special episode. Audrey, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Audrey and I are both very excited about today's show. We've got a pretty significant announcement or a pretty significant topic to talk about today. Thank you all for joining. Wow, we've already got a lot of folks in the comments. Thank you guys for commenting. I can tell a lot of people are watching already. Audrey, just give us an overview before we get started. What are we talking to the folks about today?
Well, I am so excited. I can hardly contain myself. So this is just an exciting day, exciting time. This is the culmination of about 4 years worth of work. And it's still ongoing, but we have hit the point where we can announce what's coming for the program year of 2024-25. We have some exciting Cub Scout updates, and we're going to share it with you at a high level today.
Yes, very exciting. What's kind of fun about this, guys, is that Audrey and her team have done so much work in this in advance. I think you said years and years worth of work, right? This is the accumulation of tons of work. And I'm really honored to be the guy who just gets to sit here and talk about it. I don't know anything more than you guys do. I'm just hearing about this just like you guys are. So I'm very, very excited. A quick shout out, boy, a lot of folks watching. Mike, looks like Jody, Luke, Elizabeth, Benjamin, Mike, another Mike, Sarah, Erica, Wendy, Sherry. Look at all these people. This is great. Eddie's watching. Jesse, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I might not have gotten all the names there. Thank you so much for joining us. Some of you have already tagged a friend in the comments. I 100% support that. Tag your friends. They can watch as well. And this video will be here long after Audrey and I stop yapping today. They can always go back and watch it from the beginning. Audrey, so let's start off. As Audrey said, today is going to be sort of an overview, a big picture overview. And I want to let everybody know that over the coming months, all the way through the winter and through the next spring, we're going to be devoting one episode at least per month of Cub Chat Live to do kind of a real deep dive into the real intricacies of this very exciting update. But today's show, as Audrey said, is more of an overview, big picture focus. And as we get started, Audrey, let's go back a little bit. Tell me kind of how we got to where we are right now, talking about this Cub Scout update that rolls out next June.
Yes. So super, super exciting. I first off can't start without thanking several people who would like to thank our absolutely tireless director, our National Cub Scouting Director, Anthony Berger, who has just been such a guiding light and contributor. And our past chairman, Lisa Wiley, who set the vision and the leadership and is still ongoing as one of our project leads or our project leads on this. So I'm super excited about that. And the entire National Cub Scouting Committee, who is the boots on the ground. Actually, we're not a sitting committee. We are a working committee. And I am so proud of them and all the work that they've done to get us to this point. So how we got here was that during the leadership, they started looking at our Cub Scout program to see how we could make it fun, simple, and easy. And that was the overview lens that we use, and you've heard that probably many times on different shows, that is something that we look at. And when we started to look at that, we thought, how can we do that? And we did it through research and data. So we did so the next slide I think shows us, we did multiple surveys, where we got feedback from 23,000 Cub Scout leaders and parents. So that's volunteers and the parents of folks actually in the program. So it wasn't us sitting in a room deciding, this is what we want to do. This is what you told us are things you'd love to see and how you'd love to see it. And when we proposed several things, you gave us feedback on what you liked and you didn't like. So this has been an ongoing feedback from over 23,000 folks. So we're quite proud of that. That's an exciting thing. And today, actually, we're going to go over the highlights of what came out of that. And as you said, the details, we're going to give details at each month as this comes along, so that you can, we'll have the resources in place to support you in each of those areas. And so we're super excited to present this.
Yes, we are very, very excited. I would try to do some more shout outs, but they're coming in so fast, I can hardly keep up. I appreciate everybody who's saying hi in the comments.
It's going to be
Terry,
hard to get all in, I know.
yeah, Terry, Steve, Barbara, Christy, Nathaniel, Ben, Frank, Jen, Jessica, Sean. We appreciate you all. Sean's right down the road. Sean, you're practically my neighbor. Come by and say hi sometime in Plano. Good to see you, man. So that's a pretty good sample size. That's pretty cool. That, as Audrey
Pretty
said,
awesome.
this is not just a sample size of 3 or 4 volunteers, a sample size of 20,000+ Cub Scout leaders and parents. What did you find out? What were some of the takeaways that you learned from that research, Audrey?
Well, we learned from the research that there were 4 main areas for improvement. And so those are the things that we focused on. So the first one was Bobcat. It was one set of requirements for all the grades, and that was not necessarily age appropriate. And there were some other confusions along that. And as I said before, we're going to go into next month, actually. Lisa Wiley is going to be going into Bobcat and rank advancement in more detail. But this is just an overview of the areas we saw for improvement. The adventures, they were kind of all over the board, and we weren't sure why we did some things and why some things weren't there. And there was just some inconsistencies throughout the actual adventures themselves. The Webelos program was something that we found was super confusing. It was confusing to outsiders trying to understand the program, people within the program, and even some of the professionals. It was just a very confusing program, and it didn't follow the model of some of the rest of the ranks. So that was an area for improvement. And then the awards, we found that the awards were not in the direct line of sight of the leaders, and everything needs to be in the direct line of sight of the leaders because we want to make it fun, simple, and easy for them to deliver this program. And if they have to work to get it, that's too many steps for them. And we found out some other things. So those were our main areas that were we found out from the research was
could I just
things that we could improve on.
Can I real quick clarify when you say awards, you're talking about awards beyond basic advancement, I think. Is that what you mean? Sort of
right, not the
awards?
ranks, not the lion, tiger, wolf, bear, the Webelos, Arrow of Light, but there are other things outside of that are called awards. Yes. And they're hard to find and hard to do. And as far as where do you find all the requirements and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the image is Cub Scout Outdoor Activity Award. That's, I think, just an example of possibly one of them. And,
right.
I'm sorry I don't mean to stop down the show, Audrey, but that sort of hit home when you said that.
Yeah.
I was a Cub
Well, we're
master.
in a couple slides. We're going to go into that a little bit more.
Okay, I just remember when I was a Cub master. Yeah, some of this, I didn't even know about some of the things like that. And I worked for the BSA.
No, and most people don't. And that's what we found out.
Yes. Very, very cool. Thank you. A lot of you folks in the comments are asking questions. I just want to remind everybody, you're asking kind of detailed questions. They're great questions. They're totally fair questions. There's going to be time. This is a rollout that's going to take place over the next, 8 months or so, Audrey? 7 months, all the way up until next June. And we're going to devote one episode every month to more specific details. So some of these very, very great questions that we're getting tonight, we will be able to get into as we get further deep dive, I think Audrey said, into the more into
we
the
need to get and some of it we need to get resources in place, like we need to get our training in place. So we need to get several things in place before we can go into some of the deeper details. So it gives us just a little bit of time. But we wanted to let people know the exciting news of what's coming.
Awesome. Audrey, do we have another slide we need to look at now, or can I go and ask you the next question?
Next question is perfect.
Next question. Here we go. All right. So we've learned kind of what your team discovered from the research. So now my next question is, what did you do to improve like the main program areas, Audrey? What kind of actions have you taken on that?
Right. So what we did is we looked at that research. You told us exactly what were some of the areas that we could have for improvement. And so we went and we made those improvements. So I think the next slide shows us, this is our at a glance chart, which first thing these kinds of things didn't exist until like a year ago. And so this is an improvement in itself that this chart exists. And what it shows you is that each of the ranks are fairly uniform. And that is a huge improvement. It's fun, simple, and easy. There are 6 required adventures and 2 elective adventures for each of the ranks, for each of the grades. So that makes it very simple and easy to explain to somebody, a new parent, somebody outside the program, what is Cub Scouts all about. You can show them this chart, and you don't need to dig for anything else. This is all that you need right here. 6 and 2 across the board. There are, excuse me, something to note too is some of the questions were like, why do we do what we do? Well, all of the required adventures are tied to our aims and focus areas. So now you can say to somebody, this is what Cub Scout stands for. These are the things that we're teaching our young people to make them better citizens, to make them more physically fit, to make them better leaders, to take care and preserve the outdoors and have that as part of our experience as one of our teaching areas. And so it's really simple and easy to explain to somebody. These are the 6 things we think are the most important as an organization and why our program exists. And then the 2 electives you get a lot of choice. There are lots of choices. The other thing to note, if you haven't, is that Bobcat is across the board. Every single rank starts with Bobcat in the required adventures. It's designed to be the first required adventure. And each of those, no, it's not the same requirement across all ranks. It is all age appropriate, and everything has been touched and made to be simple, fun, simple, and easy on all the requirements. Even if they have the same name, it has been evaluated and touched and tested on whether this meets those criteria. So Bobcat is across the board. It is now an adventure, so that's exciting. And the thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to is that Webelos and Arrow of Light are now a standalone program. Webelos is our 4th grade program, and Arrow of Light is for our 5th grade program, and its mission is to prepare you to go into Scouts BSA. So those are some really, really exciting things there.
That is very exciting. Yeah. And I want to remind everybody, I'm seeing this for the first time right now in real life. I have a list of questions for Audrey, but I don't know the answers. I'm relying on her for the answers. And I'm not surprised at all that these are what you heard from the 26,000 or so folks that you talked to. It's amazing how much this aligns with my own experience. Again, it's been a few years since I've been a Cub Scout leader, but I do remember trying to figure out how many elective adventures are there again for this rank and how many are there for this rank.
Right.
100% approve of the 6 and 2 format.
Yep.
100% approve of the Bobcat being the first adventure across the board and it not being the same for every single age. That's perfect. And 100% approve of Webelos and Arrow of Light. Again, I want to just clarify they're 2 separate.
They're now 2 separate ranks, right? They're 2 separate program or 2 separate grade level programs. So yes, Webelos is part of our Cub Scouts program, and then Arrow of Light is specifically designed to be preparing you to move into Scouts BSA.
I want to clarify one more thing that I'm seeing in the comments. This goes into effect next June. You do not have to change anything for the rest of this year. No, do not change this year's program. Keep doing what you're doing, folks. Don't try to change anything now for the end of the year. And I'll also share another. I love sharing personal stories, Audrey. I don't know if people like to hear them, but I like sharing them. When I was a Cub Scout leader, that was actually, this tells you how long ago it was. That was the last time the program went through some updates. So it was in the middle of my son's journey. The program changed. Guess what? It was fine. It didn't mess anything up. It was totally fine. We just finished 1 year with the current program and switched over to the new program or the updated program the next year. It was totally fine. I can't tell you how many times.
And that is part of what we're listening to also, is that people wanted the information earlier. They wanted it communicated clearly and not surprised. And we have, well, we're going to get to it later, but when there is a rollout plan, there's a whole ready plan to make sure that all the things are in place so that by the time June 1st comes along, or actually in the spring, a lot of the components are already in place so that there isn't any kind of shock. Everybody is prepared. Again, listening to that communication of what the leaders on the ground really need.
And I can tell you,
this year's program stays the same.
Yes.
This will not be in effect until June 1st, or, when it's released.
Yes, got it. And I can't tell you, again, how many parents asked me back then, what's the difference between Webelos and Arrow of Light? Because it was kind of confusing. They're both
Right.
Webelos, but only one of them's Arrow Light.
Right.
So
And we're going to go into a whole show on all those details about that. But
yes,
this
yes.
is the breakout. It's going to be much more simple, easy to explain, and easier on the den leaders.
Yes, you guys in the comments, I guess say, as our commenters usually do, Audrey, a lot of questions and a lot of answers, a lot of spirited discussion. We appreciate it very, very much. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it going. I'm sorry I can't get to every single question.
I may have some more answers as we progress along the
yes, a lot of the questions that you guys are asking, we're going to answer. If not in the next 15 minutes, definitely over the coming months as we continue to roll out these updates. Audrey, I'm curious, based on the research you did after all that, anything surprise you? Anything stands out? And if so, how did you guys deal with that?
Right. So as I said, we listened to the research and what our audience was telling us they needed and wanted, and it wasn't just our personal opinion. So we kind of expected those first three areas for improvement, that's what needed to happen because we've been working in these fields. The thing that came up that we did not really expect was the awards. And when we looked at the awards, we found that we needed to reimagine them. And so if I could have that next slide on there we go. The awards were only earned by about 1.5%. And that is a little bit sad because if you can see on the slide that required adventures have an attachment rate, meaning that people do them, of about 70%, which you would expect because that's what's needed to get your badge of rank.
Right.
Elective adventures are a little lower because there's a wide variety and you can choose. So there's between 15 to 25%. But the awards were really from 0 to 3%. And we'll go into that in another show. Yes, they knew about them. Yes, they still chose not to do them. There's a whole bunch of interesting data along those lines that we were not looking to change the awards initially, but basically our audience told us that we needed to be looking at this. So they've been reimagined because we still think, like, especially for me, I really appreciate the conservation efforts that scouting does, and that's the Panda Award, as I call it there. It's a World Conservation Award. It's been reimagined into a belt loop so that when you have them as an elective, then the leaders have that in their line of sight. And then there's a much greater chance, there's a 15% chance that they're going to do it. So that means more people would be doing World Conservation, and it now has a new name, but basically World Conservation or these outdoor activities, summertime awards. More of them will have that opportunity to do them because it's right there in the den leader's line of sight. So they will no longer be patches, but they will be belt loops, which means they're in the regular electives program. So that's an exciting change, but it was one we did not expect. And basically was what the data showed us that we needed to address.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it does go to show how you guys had to make kind of difficult decisions. A lot of people in the comments, right, I'm going to be honest, are disappointed that those are going away. And I get it. But this is just an example of, hey, 1.5% doesn't lie, right?
No.
So you're right, exactly. So a lot of folks liked those special
patches. So they're not actually going away.
Right.
They're being transitioned.
Yes.
And so actually they will be much more likely to be increased.
I think some of the commenters liked that they were separate, but I think that this way, the main goal is to have more kids participate, right? To have more kids get the chance to do those activities, whether they're in a loop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
By moving them over into the regular program, we hope, Audrey, right, this will result in more kids doing them.
It's fun, simple, and easy, that we don't have exceptions outside of the norms that aren't being used, sadly. Yes. I mean, obviously the people who are attached to this they were in the 1.5%, but that is not very many.
1.5% are in the comments right now. We appreciate all of your passion, everybody. Keep those comments coming. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk next, Audrey, about the electives. You had that chart before that showed 6 requirements, 2 electives across the board, I think, right? Tell us a little bit more about how all these changes affect our electives.
Well, with the electives, we've also listened to what folks needed and wanted. So you will see that from our electives chart here, it has been simplified in that the main core programs that go the longest all have 20 electives available. The two shorter programs, which is Lion, doesn't start until the fall, does not have a summer option, and fifth grade Arrow of Light is transitioning into Scouts BSA, so they have 16 electives. So it's very simple across the board. You have some of the existing electives are in the lighter color. The medium color, those are new or awards transitioning, reimagining into belt loops. Some exciting things was some of the research showed us that, people really like fishing as far as outdoors and people outside, and we only had it in one place. And so it's been across the board to make it so much easier for planning for small dens when you need to combine dens, and for pack activities where you want to do fishing across all of them, then you can have electives along that for a pack activity. So it's super. This got really high marks when we tested this or got feedback on this as the changes were implementing. So we're really excited about that. So those are new or awards imagined, and then the darkest color across the bottom, those are ones that can only be done in district or council activities, and there are target and range sports. And so it's pretty exciting to have, in many cases, it's double the electives, which gives you lots of opportunity to pick and choose which things suit you best, suits your pack best, or your den, and especially if you have multi-age dens, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
I love the fact that fishing, correct me if I'm wrong, you said fishing is now a part elective for every age group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. We all know that fishing is a super popular activity. I don't think I've ever came across a Cub Scout who wasn't at least interested in trying to fish, right? Learning about it, if not 100% passionate about it. It totally makes sense that you would throw it across the board like that. Again, just another example, I think, of using our findings in the field, right? Giving the folks what they want.
Yep, absolutely. So this is very exciting.
Yes, very, very cool. Okay, so as we said before, today's show is really designed to give you guys an overview. Again, the questions in the comments, we love them. We love them. We love them. Keep those coming. We're going to get to all this stuff in the future. Today's show is an overview. Audrey, where and how can people go to get more information about the rollout as we move forward? Obviously, people are very interested, Audrey. So
right. So the next slide shows that we do have a rollout plan, which is exciting. So you're going to want to mark your calendars for these dates, as we will be, if you can get there live, that's great. But we also have it online after the program. You can get it, and in podcasts. So these are fantastic opportunities. So you can see that Cub Chat Live is one of our main focuses. This is where we get a chance to talk back and forth a lot easier, not static. And those are those coming up. So we have each one of those subject matters on those dates. So block that out. Your councils have also had access and been working on getting educated on the new program and the new resources coming, and that's already ongoing right now and already has been. The commissioners are also, those are our helpers. They're also being educated on the new systems and the new things coming forward. And a group of council presenters are also being trained. They're going to be or educated. They're going to be able to then go out to each of the councils or many of the councils and give an in-person interaction. And so that's coming up. One thing to note is we have a series of primetime live Cub Chats coming up in the evening in January. Those are all going to be the same topics, but that just gives you different dates so that you can participate and be in on the chat. So that's coming up in January. We're also working closely with Scouts BSA to work with their side, their leadership, especially with obviously with the Arrow of Light transitions. So we're working on getting those resources in place. And then the exciting stuff is the handbooks and the belt loops and the pins and all that will be in the Scout shops for the spring of 2024, so that those that are maybe using those as crossover gifts or things that they'd like to buy themselves, those will be available then. Training will be updated by May. so that all the information will be there for our new leaders. We have lots of new leaders every year, so that will be an exciting time for them. And then we will also be updating all the online tools, which are coming, and that's going to be a really exciting Cub Chat when we get to that one. There's a whole new system coming forward to make this fun, simple, and easy for den leaders, because we really heard that loud and clear was something that needed to be improved and updated. So we're super excited about that. Scout book and online reports will also be updated about that time. So lots of things to look forward to. Just please be patient with us. As I said, it is a huge mountain of volunteer work, and we are still in work getting these things done. And so we can't get ahead of ourselves because the resources might not yet be completed. We're still heavily in work, and it's exciting times.
There are people asking a lot of good questions. I want to make it clear to everybody, this is not your only chance to get information about this. As Audrey said, as we
really have one more slide, and if we have time, we can take a few questions. So yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. You want to do the last slide before we do that?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
So
okay. Let's do it.
The one thing that you need to know is this is the official source. Cub Chat Live, and what you hear here is the official source. We know there's other things floating around that may or may not be official sources and may or may not be official answers. And so there's everything that we are speaking about here, or most everything, is going to be uploaded to the program updates on the national website, and the Cub Scouts has a Cub Scout tab. And you can get to it quickly through this QR code, or you can get to it through the link that's listed on here. So that is the one source of truth. So if you ever have any questions about what is coming or what has been officially released, this is the place to go. So it's exciting to have that all in one spot. So you don't have to worry. You know what is going to be exactly the right place to go.
One of the most common requests I'm seeing in the chat is, can you repeat the part about, and then whatever it is.
Right. So after this broadcast, the rollout chart and the at a glance advancement chart should be uploaded to this site. So
yes. So you guys have two options. This video will stay on this Facebook page forever. You can go back and watch it whenever you want to. You can slide through it until you get to the part that you want to. And as Audrey said, this website here will be updated with everything that we've talked about. All the charts and all that stuff will be available on this website. If it's not already there, it'll be there very, very shortly. Again, appreciate all of your patience and everything like that. I think there's a couple of questions that we maybe can't answer now. There's a few that we can't. But Audrey, a lot of folks asking about Bobcat. I want to make it clear. In as the program exists right now, the Bobcat is something that you do once, that a child does once when they join. Doesn't matter how old they are, they do the same thing, and they never do it again. Not so much more. The new updates. Can you explain that just one more time, Audrey? The Bobcat is now part of each rank advancement program. It's different for every age. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, and again, we'll go into that in actual details the very next show.
Yes,
but it's our character and leadership focus. So Bobcat is why we ask it to be the first required adventure that you work on is your Bobcat, and it is different each grade. So everybody does it each year as their first required adventure.
That's a great idea.
And so it's all age appropriate per grade.
So if your child has already earned the current version of the Bobcat starting next fall or summer, they will earn the version of the Bobcat for whatever rank they're going into next fall.
Right, because it has important character and leadership development.
It is like everything else. It is an enhanced and improved version of what we currently call the Bobcat badge. Thank you for that clarification, Audrey. There's one more question. I don't know if we can answer this today or not, but this is a common question I'm seeing with the Webelos and Arrow of Light ranks now being separate. The Arrow of Light, does the Arrow of Light calendar change? I think traditionally Arrow of Light scouts are crossing over in early spring. Do we know? Can we tell the folks if that is still how it will work going forward?
Crossover is going to be very similar. Some other things that they're traditionally used to doing later in the year are going to be changing. So you'll definitely want to listen to that broadcast about the details of what Arrow of Light is going to look like. So it's exciting, and we've worked very hard with the Scouts BSA folks to make sure their committee and their chairman, to make sure that we are all in line and excited to be starting their new program.
Great. That is awesome. Guys, we appreciate all of your comments, all of your questions. We might not have answered every single one of them in today's show. That's because we're going to get to that eventually. There's a lot of details that we still have to share with you guys over the next few months. We'd love it if you continue to tune in to Cub Scout Live in the coming months, but there will also be people in your council that you can contact there if you have questions. Again, they will be trained right over the next few months, so it will all trickle down.
When in doubt, look at that rollout chart, and those are at each month. Those are the resources that will be ready to be released and ready to go. We simply don't have training done right now, so I can't answer the training questions for you yet. So just be patient with us. We're trying to give you, as requested, the information as soon as possible so you can adjust your own calendars. But yes, the rest we need to do.
People are eager for more information. I get it. You have things to plan, right? You've got to plan stuff for the next summer, for example. That is coming. We will get it to you in plenty of time. We're not going to share it all. We're not really ready to share it all right now.
And we have already educated the day camps and the resident camps directors with that information, so they have that knowledge also. Awesome. Audrey, that was something. I know.
We went over
it's
a lot
exciting.
of stuff. This is probably the most significant Cub Chat Live episode ever. We appreciate all of your comments. There are tons of them, and I'm sorry I was not getting. Normally we can shout out people, and it's no big deal, but I cannot keep up today.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Audrey, before we let you go, any final thoughts today?
No, I'm just well, I mean, I always have final thoughts. I just want to once again thank our director, Anthony, and past chair, Lisa, and the entire National Cub Scouting Committee for hours upon hours upon hours of work that they've done and are still continuing to do. And for those of you that did answer those surveys and the feedback surveys, we highly valued your thoughts and opinions, and we have listened and have improved our program based on those results. So it's exciting times, and be sure to check your resources for Cub Chat Live and the national website of what is officially being released. So I'm excited, and we look forward to the next shows.
Yes, that is awesome. I'm going to ask behind the scenes Brian to put up that last slide with that QR code one more time so folks can see it. There you go. So again, all the folks asking questions, this video, as soon as we're done, you can go back to the beginning, you can watch it, you can scan through it, you can go to this website. I would bookmark it and check it continually over the next few months. We've got a lot of very, very kind and enthusiastic comments. People love the Cub Scout program, so it's not a surprise that people have very, very passionate opinions. Anna says, thank you for all you're doing for Scouts. Most of these changes sound very positive. We appreciate you doing your best to improve our scouting experience. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Thank you to all of you, even if you disagree with Anna. Still, thank you all of you for watching. We appreciate it very much. We are doing our best. And as Audrey said earlier in the show, wow, special thanks to the folks who spent so much time. 4 years? Does that sound about right, Audrey?
Yeah.
I mean, Audrey, thanks to you, thanks to your team, our good friend Lisa, my not so good friend Anthony. I'm kidding. I like Anthony. He's great. Thanks to all of you guys. And I know it's not just you. It's more people that Cub Chat Mike, everybody who's involved in all that. You guys did great. We look forward to hearing more from you guys in the future. In the meantime, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to go maybe take a nap here. That was exhausting. Great job, though, Audrey. Thanks again for all you watching today. Enjoy the weekend. Stay tuned to future Cub Chat episodes for more information. Bye, everybody. Bye, Audrey.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to catch next week's episode. Same time, same place. And let us know how we're doing at go.scoutingmagazine.org/ratecubchat. We love feedback and ideas for new episodes. And you can visit blog.scoutingmagazine.org/CubChatLive for all our past video episodes. You can see us live. Except it's recorded, but it was live. Okay, see you next week.